Hi, I'm Ariel Wengroff, and we're still here in Lisbon, Portugal, which has become our own crypto mecca. We're learning about everything from NFTs to DAOs to tokenized assets, talking to some of the biggest world leaders about what's going on in our new wild world. And this week, speaking of crypto mecca, we will meet with true and hardcore Bitcoin believers in New Hampshire in the United States and relive the last 7 days of crypto, as we always do. And we will meet the founder that turned the collectible sports card into an experience, Nicolas Julia, the CEO of Sorare. So, you've guessed it, we're here for another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. And if that intro wasn't enough, it's enough time for you to actually click and subscribe to our YouTube channel before we start the episode. We're back down the rabbit hole. Before we talk to the amazing founder of Sorare, first, we're gonna help you out if you happen to be in a submarine and just got back to the surface and didn't have Wi-Fi for the last 7 days. Well, that's okay, because here we go with 7 days of crypto.
This week on the Crypto Planet, a mascot, some heavy metal, and a crypto rookie. They all made the news in the world of crypto. So, here we go for a news roundup with 7 days in crypto. Where will it end? Bitcoin to the moon again. The cryptocurrency reached an all-time high once again on Wednesday, $68,925. One person who has faith that it will rise again is Tim Cook, who has bitten into Bitcoin. During an online conference by the New York Times,
Do you own crypto? Any Bitcoin or Ethereum? Would you play around with this?
the business rookie made a stunning confession.
I do, yeah.
But hold on, you can't buy your future iPhones with Bitcoin yet.
I'm not planning to in the immediate future to take crypto for our products.
Tim Cook has put the brakes on that hope. So his earlier investment revelation was strictly personal.
I think it's reasonable to own it as a part of a diversified portfolio. And I'm not giving anybody investment advice, by the way.
You have to be careful.
They didn't need any encouragement. On the other side of the country, political bigwigs have already dipped their toes into the cryptoverse. The mayors of several major cities on the US East Coast are competing in a Bitcoin gold rush.
A new mayor. New ideas.
There's a heavyweight crypto political threesome. Eric Adams, the newly elected New York mayor, announced shortly after his victory that he was willing to accept his salary in Bitcoin. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez had been in the lead of the crypto race as the first city boss to make such an announcement.
Lots of new stuff.
Now, it's Tampa Bay's mayor who's in the Bitcoin salary game.
Blockchain is the future of transactions, without a doubt.
The mayor of Jackson is also keen. So actually, they're four in the running for the race for coolest mayor.
Hi-ho, it's home from work we go.
Will one of them drop out and retire sooner than expected? Possible. 4% of American workers have over the last 12 months. According to Civic Science data, 6 million people decided to switch things up following their crypto investments. A new American way of life? Who knows? You could be next. Heading to Japan now. Clara Delevingne, Emma Watson, Vladimir Putin, Richard Gere. They're all high-profile lovers of Shiba Inu dogs, the barking kind. Now that the lovely little dogs also become a cryptocurrency mascot and a mega investment success story, the demand for the fox lookalike doggo has more than tripled in just a month.
It's totally unrealistic.
After the coin's value rose by a staggering 800% in October, it's now easier to get crypto Shiba than a real one. Back to the US. Storm in a teacup in junk food paradise. Jack in the Box, the famous 70-year-old quick-serve burger company, is suing FTX, the cryptocurrency exchange, for allegedly, brazenly and illegally copying its mascot with its new face of the company, Moonman.
He took my essence.
A lawsuit's recently been filed in the Southern District Court of California. It says that the characters are strikingly similar in both appearance and behavior, and that it could cause Jack in the Box considerable economic damage and irreparable harm. Can't we all just get along? Maybe Moonman and Jack could thrash it out over a burger.
What are you going to do?
We end this weekly tour in Finland, where Slipknot is as popular as ever. The famous heavy metal band has also been seduced by the charms of the NFT market.
Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe I'm a genius.
The devilishly masked Des Moines group has just released 9 exclusive songs as NFTs on their newborn website, thechapeltownrag.com. Though each token already seems to be sold out, a link leads you to the Wax blockchain, recently used by groups such as Megadeth and Baby Metal to sell NFTs.
I'm pretty sure we don't have anything in common.
The alchemists are turning heavy metal into crypto gold. Well, that's it. 7 Days in Crypto is over. We'll see you next week for a new tour of crypto news.
And now we meet with the man who reinvented what was known as the most iconic collectible trading card. 60 years ago, people had the Mickey Mantle super rare baseball card. 50 years ago, the Panini cards. And now, people have Sorare, an amazing game that mixes the original love of sports cards and NFTs. In only a couple of years, founder Nicolas Julia struck deals with European football championships, 180 football clubs, including Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain, and received official support from the World Cup champions. It's only fitting that we're interviewing him here today in Lisbon. So let's go meet him. This will be your most unusual interview spot.
I like it. Unconventional.
Yes, we try to be. Yeah. Nicolas, thank you so much for joining us today on Down the Rabbit Hole.
Thank you for having me. Excited about it.
Yeah, we're very excited. I'm sure this is the only late night outdoor interview you'll be doing while in Lisbon. But so I want to play a little game with you. Yeah. So if I'm a kid and I remember kind of trading cards, I think about Star Wars, I think about, baseball. Obviously that's changed a lot now. And Sorare is really the first to do that in the NFT space. Can you explain to kind of the average person what Sorare is and what you do?
Yeah, so at the core it's a fantasy sports game. So, game where the performance of the player on the pitch affect your performance as a gamer or as a manager. But it's a fantasy game where you need to play with NFT collectibles. So basically you compose your team with NFT collectibles that then, depending on how the player do on the pitch, affect your performance. So that's what Sorare is as a game. So it's really at the intersection of NFT collectibles and fantasy gaming, basically.
But when you started, NFTs were not the craze that they were today. I mean, I think I heard you say somewhere that you were able to do a lot of the beginning of Sorare with no marketing spend.
Yeah.
So I know fantasy sports already existed, and obviously the love of games and of players, but how did you get people to understand the relevance of what an NFT was?
Yeah, so I think that what's important in NFT and crypto in general is not to try to teach or to explain, is for people to get the benefits, like to feel the benefits even emotionally, right? Without having to read like complicated stuff. And so for us, there's of course various benefits of using NFTs in our game instead of traditional digital goods. The first one is digital scarcity, the thing that, like if I tell you this is just the unique edition of Messi, it cannot be one more. And so it's not by explaining how a smart contract is backing this scarcity, is for the user to feel the scarcity by the story we create, by the design we create, so for user to feel it is important. So digital scarcity, then portability, you can feel it as well, like you can move your item away on OpenSea, you can move your item in a different game. So these are things that you need to use and to feel, but not teach, basically.
Well, you basically took something that was a user behavior and then increased it into a different way, into Web3. And I heard you speak a little bit at here in Lisbon about what the future is maybe for Sorare a little bit around Web3. Could you speak to that a little bit for those who couldn't hear?
Yeah, so the future around Web3, you mean? Or
yeah,
like
around Web3 and how you envision using your technology across things larger than NFTs potentially.
Yeah, so I think that first of all, we build on the blockchain at first because we want to build something in the open, and we want people to be free to move their assets in different worlds, right? We don't want them to be tied in one world, so I guess we're going to push on this platform play, meaning that we're going to invest and support the creation of applications and games where people can use their NFTs. So this is something we're gonna go big, and generally speaking, I think that in the long term, everything of value will be an NFT in the future, and that's our vision, and that's why we got started in the beginning.
Something I'm curious about is, I think about Sorare and I think of you. Obviously, there's a platform component, but I think of it as sort of a company, right? It's one thing that's encompassed. And I am curious if over time you see yourselves as more of a platform where there will be many different types of experiences that will be enabled through your ecosystem. Yeah,
so I think that's right. The first step is going to be have our own experiences around fantasy football, fantasy other sports, right? And be the leaders in all of these experiences. And then the second step is to have this platform being built. But first, I think you need to show the first use cases, to build the first games, and then having a community, which is happening today. Like we have dozens of side games and applications being built on top, but helping them to scale it and to do it better is part of our plans.
And there's been some conversation around, not just for Sorare, but generally in the market around sports betting and some increased conversation there, education, so that, because these behaviors can be quite addictive, right? You spend so much time doing them. What is Sorare's perspective on that conversation?
I think that when you create a new market and a new product on a new market, there's no box for regulation. So you need to engage in a dialogue with all the existing regulators to explain what it is and, to tell what you are doing. So that's exactly what we are doing. In our case, I think that one thing that we are doing in terms of intent is not willing people to spend time in front of a screen like it's a fantasy game. You need to compose your team, then the game plays by itself. Yeah. So I think it's way more healthier than more of the game that we are seeing today that try to seek attention to resell your data. Here, like you buy an item, you compose your team, and then it's playing by itself. So I think it's really important, and we want to keep this relationship with the physical world as well. So it's not only a digital product. You own an NFT, you can do some stuff in the physical world, meet a player because you own an NFT, go to the stadium, go to the training ground. This kind of, we see NFTs as a way to unlock experiences, not only in the digital, but also in the physical world.
I think that's an important distinction. I mean, some of the individuals that we've spoken with are so all in on Web3 that they're kind of like, let's leave IRL behind. I'm curious, what was your perspective on the Meta announcement this week?
Yeah, so first of all, like I don't want to live only on Meta or in the digital world, and I think that we can see two paths for like this metaverse to be built, one being owned and built by big tech, another one being owned and built by the people. I think that there's some cool stuff being done by NFT companies or projects for the second pass. For the first one, remains to be seen how they're going to approach it. We don't know. I don't know at this stage how they're going to build it. But what is for sure is that for us, we want to keep this bridge between the physical world and the digital world in both ways, because the players on the pitch impact how you do in the game, but what you do in the game by winning more NFTs impact what you can do in the physical world. So it's really this like mutual connection between them that we think is exciting.
Speaking of someone who is stuck on the ground for his love of crypto, we're gonna head to New Hampshire to meet with the Crypto6, a very strong group of Bitcoin believers who are working to do some revolutionary acts in the United States. They want to eradicate the dollar, make crypto available for everyone, and for that, they are ready to challenge US law. Their leader, Ian Freeman, now lives under house arrest for fraudulent activities brought upon him by the US government for crypto activities. So, we went to see them, hear their side of the story, and learn about their Bitcoin utopia called Crypto Mecca. This is the story by William Thorpe and Gabrielle Moret.
I think I've always kind of been anti-authority. I remember not wanting to be told what to do as young as I can remember.
I've always been willing to take risks for freedom, and if you're gonna go down fighting.
Any cryptocurrency is a really good way of saying fuck the system.
There was no money stolen. The only thing that they say makes it fraud is that we didn't tell the banks that we were buying and selling Bitcoin.
So the FBI raided my house and 4 other people's houses.
They kicked down my door, pointed guns at me, and threatened to shoot me.
The activists came up with the name the Crypto6. I wanted to see an end to government monopolies and monopolies on money to help empower the individual, to undermine the central banks and the central so-called authorities, and that Bitcoin is the best tool that we've had in our lifetimes and in generations to do that.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Welcome to the program where you can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever's on your mind. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian and Chris. Maybe you've heard that Bitcoin just hit a record high earlier this week, just I think 2 days ago at this point.
66,000 was it?
Yeah, it was almost 67. Almost 67.
Okay.
And just almost made it there. Yeah, we could be at 100 by the end of the year. I mean, that is...
I'm crossing my fingers.
We got a good group here. There's more coming up. You can join us on Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it.
We're not specifically a crypto show, but we are the show that brings crypto to the masses in a way, and we're huge cryptocurrency fans. We're users of cryptocurrency. To me, Bitcoin is a mission of peace. So we started a vending machine. This little thing, you can just set it on a countertop where they can come 7 days a week, put cash into this machine, and get Bitcoin out. The machines had a hot wallet with actual Bitcoin that the machines had control over, that was not coming from, we're not placing orders on an exchange. So it really is like a candy vending machine where you put money in and you get product out. And there's no in between. It's just buyer, seller. Now that value that they've created cannot be taxed by the government unless you tell them about it. And it cannot be stolen by them. Banking Commission knew about our Bitcoin vending machine. I never asked them permission because I don't operate that way. I don't ask people for permission for what should be my right to do. So I figured at some point something would happen.
Get back right now. I will not ask you again.
In Keene, the U.S. Attorney's Office says 6 people were indicted by a federal grand jury in New Hampshire and charged with participating in a conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money-transmitting business. They have been identified as Colleen Fordham of Alstead, Renee Spinella, Andrew Spinella, Ian Freeman of Keene, Aria DeMezzo of Keene, and a person named Nobody.
So the FBI raided my house and 4 other people's houses on March 16th. There were probably somewhere between 3 or 4 or 5 dozen armed agents here. At 6 in the morning, the police rolled up here onto I think they came right up here, and there was a battering ram on the front of their tank, which is called a Bearcat, that they busted this front door in with. So they smashed in this window here, which is right in the front of the studio. So there's broken glass all over the inside of the entryway here. I could see there were armed men standing outside shouting at me to come down the stairs with my hands up. I was arrested.
Back up, you're not allowed in this area.
They took me away. I spent 69 days behind bars.
Hey!
How do you feel?
Let's get out of this place.
Yeah!
They've charged me with unlicensed money transmission, conspiracy to commit money transmission, multiple counts of wire fraud, 1 charge of money laundering, then there's a charge of continuing financial crimes enterprise. And that charge alone, that 1 charge, has a 10-year minimum sentence.
The FBI would say that people got taken advantage of, and they got, scam artists took advantage of them, and they bought Bitcoin from Ian Freeman and his friends, and he enabled that. So you add up all the time, I could be spending the rest of my life in prison over this. Okay. All right, Coconut, let's go. Coconut, we can't go that way. Sadly, my bail conditions are very restrictive. I can't leave the house without permission from the government. This is the box that has a cell phone transmitter in it, and it connects to this. So if I go more than 100 feet away, this goes into the range error mode, and then they would alert my probation officer that I have left the house without permission.
Ian is one of the most dedicated activists I've ever known. He never stops working for liberty. I'm the nobody formerly known as Rich Paul. I changed my name to Nobody to run for governor. Basically, I wanted to do the job like nobody was doing it. My slogan was, nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I'm charged with conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business, and I'm charged with 4 counts of wire fraud. And although they call it fraud, there was no money stolen. The only thing that they say makes it fraud is that we didn't tell the banks that we were buying and selling Bitcoin. I've been wanting to get out of the dollar for a long time. You know, we don't have to live our lives on blood money. And really, the dollar is blood money. Basically, the only way to buy oil on the world market is to pay for it in dollars. And that's the primary reason. All the wars are fought on behalf of the banks. The more people who use Bitcoin, the less power the government will have, and the more people will see that they don't need the government.
So it's kind of cool. There's little Bitcoin icons on this map that show crypto accepting businesses here in Keene. You can see the Bitcoin embassy here. There's another Bitcoin icon here, here, and here, and so there's several businesses.
Keene is known as the crypto mecca because it has the highest number of cryptocurrency accepting businesses per capita of anywhere in the world. I could eat at a different restaurant every single day of the week and use cryptocurrency every single day. Just down this street right here, there is an Indian place that accepts cryptocurrency. And I think there's another place down there. I would estimate that it's about 1 shop for every 1,000 people that accepts cryptocurrency as payment. Like this one here, fucking great. Hi again. You can just come in here, place your order, and scan a QR code, and there you go.
I get random people coming in and paying with crypto, and it's really funny because I can always tell when they are going to ask because they look very nervous. You know, like they're doing something wrong.
Cryptocurrency as a whole is a way of giving the middle finger to the system. You know, governments are slow to react. They still haven't gotten around to regulating Bitcoin, and the cryptocurrency world is now dealing with Monero and Hush and Zcash and Horizon and all of these other privacy coins, and the government is still trying to figure out Bitcoin. There was a very narrow window where they could have actually controlled cryptocurrency. That ship sailed a long time ago. Now decentralization is too big. There's nothing they can do about it at this point.
I don't know if you have the gas lines at your house.
Yeah, we don't have gas all out in West Keene.
Anyway, the dude that comes in to turn the gas back on today and like relight the burner, he goes, "Hey man, are you one of the Crypto6?"
Government guys are all about control. They're all about power, and they need to have that control. And crypto takes that out of their hands. And it's so important what Satoshi Nakamoto did, because he literally took the power of money. I mean, this is, you know, the most important thing to have control over. He's taken it out of their hands and put it in the hands of the individual. And there's nothing the governments of the world can do about it. They can stamp their feet, they can, put some people in jail, and they can threaten and they can try to regulate, but ultimately they won't be able to stop cryptocurrency.
And now back to you, Nicolas. I know that you have over 200 clubs signed on Sorare.
Yep.
What is the one that's escaping you that you wish you had?
So we are very happy not to have any single club or league telling us we don't want to work with us. It's just that for some of them it's taking more time. It's normal because some organizations are more complex and the processes are more complex. But yeah, so far all of them want to engage, and we want to have all the top leagues in the world, all the top sports, and I think we are making good progress in that direction.
And my last question is, I know you've spoken actually quite loudly about the need for sort of gender equity in the conversation around sports. How is Sorare approaching this, and do you feel like your other businesses in the category are also stepping in as well?
Yeah, so I think the first step that you need to make is making sure that you have a game where you put in the same level, both gender. And so we have some big announcement to do in soccer and with women soccer sports in the coming weeks to not just be like words, but acts within the product, because I think you need to start with the product, right? And so that's first, and then part of the investment that we just had is going to be dedicated to help initiatives for the place of women in sports. So that's like other initiatives that we're going to have with some sports men and women.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this rainy evening down the rabbit hole in Lisbon. We're very appreciative of your time.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for having me.
And another week has passed us by where we've gone down the rabbit hole here from Lisbon in Portugal. We met with Nicolas from Sorare. We learned about some incredibly charged individuals in New Hampshire who are learning what it means to make Bitcoin a revolution in the United States. So take a nap, take a break. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week. Maybe from somewhere else around the world, maybe from the metaverse. You'll never know until you watch.